Thank you, dear devotees. Thank you once again for your wonderful association. We are really fortunate to have all of your association today in our mid-morning chapa session. And today's class, as I already said, will be served by Her Grace Priti Vilasini Mataji. She will be speaking from Antya Khanda, chapter 2, verse 471 to 503, which is the end of the chapter. But before that, I would like to read Srila Prabhupada's quote for today. Srila Prabhupada on 22nd September 1976 in Vrindavan. He said, "The more people will be materialistic, the world will be burdened. Therefore, there must be war, pestilence, famine to clear these rascals, clear out." Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So thank you, dear devotees. Thank you once again for your wonderful association. And now I would like to hand over this call to Her Grace Priti Vilasini Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for your association. Please take over the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for joining. And we are reading from Sri Caitanya Bhagavat. And before we get started with the verses for today, which is very simple, there's nothing much in these verses, so it'll be a very simple class. We'll just be reading a few verses and we'll be done. Before we get started, we will offer prayers and then we'll get started. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं कृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरं नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्या प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवसादि गौरभक्तवृन्दा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. My humble obeisances to all the Vaishnavas on the call. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. We are in this reading Sri Caitanya Bhagavat, and we are at a point when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has just reached Jagannath Puri and taken darshan of Lord Jagannath. आजानुलम्बितभुजौ कनकावदातौ सङ्कीर्तनैकपितरौ कमलायदाक्षौ विश्वम्भरौ द्विजवरौ युगधर्मपालौ वन्दे जगत्प्रियकरौ करुणावतारौ जयति जयति देवा कृष्णचैतन्यचन्द्रो जयति जयति कीर्तिस्तस्य नित्या पवित्रा जयति जयति भृत्यास्तस्य विश्वेश्वमूर्तेर्जयति जयति नृत्यं तस्य सर्वप्रियाणाम्. I'll share screen and we'll get started with the verses. We are doing from verse 471 onwards until the end of chapter, which is around 502 or something. So those are the verses we are going to cover today. But before we get started with 471, just to build a context, as I mentioned, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has now reached Jagannath Puri and he went running to take the darshan of the deity. And when he saw this beautiful form of Jagannath, he fainted in ecstasy and he lost consciousness. And he started exhibiting the Ashtasattvika manifestations, the vikaras, the different manifestations when one is in extreme ecstasy, which is only, it's a symptom of Mahabhav, which he was exhibiting, and not many people understood what it is. In fact, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned that some of the guards, they just wanted to take him and throw him out. But then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he forbade that. And he could understand that this is a very special personality. In Chaitanya Bhagavat, it is mentioned that in the mind of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he thought maybe this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is not mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, however, in Chaitanya Bhagavat, it is mentioned that the thought crossed Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's mind that this could be the Chaitanya that everybody is talking about. So he was amazed at the transformations, the ecstatic transformations that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was exhibiting. And he stopped the guards from touching Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he requested that they very carefully carry him to his house. All this we have seen in the previous verses in the past 2-3 classes. And we also saw how Govardhan Giri Prabhu was mentioning very beautiful comparisons about how carrying the Lord is such a beautiful service. You're carrying the Lord who has the entire universe in his abdomen. That Lord, what a great fortune these people had to very carefully carry and take him out and leave him in Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house. Again, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned that this Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya lived very close to the Jagannath Puri temple. So, if you read Chaitanya Charitamrita in Madhya Leela chapter 6, it is mentioned that he lived just behind this temple along the sea coast, along the ocean coast. That is where his house was. And he was in one sense also a relative, a close relative of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because here in this particular purport of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned Maheshwara Visharadha was a classmate of Nilambar Chakravarti's. He lived in Nadia district in a village called Vidyanagara and had 2 sons, namely Madhusudana Vachaspati and Vasudeva Sarvabhauma. His son-in-law was Gopinathacharya. So basically, they were all from the same place in one sense. Somehow they were closely well known, the Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Gopinathacharya, all of them. And Gopinathacharya already knew very well that this is the incarnation of the Lord that has come in this age of Kali. Gopinathacharya knew that. Though Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, in his mind, he was just thinking, this is a very special person and he must be Sri Chaitanya. That was the thought that was running in his mind. Okay. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he takes him to his house and he cares for him. Meanwhile, what happened was Nityananda Prabhu and the other associates, they went ahead and they wanted to take darshan of Jagannath. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned that Nityananda Prabhu also fainted in ecstasy. But he got up. I mean, he lost, it was a momentary loss of consciousness. But then he gathered himself and he received the garland of Jagannath. The pujaris, they gave him the garland of Jagannath. So taking these garlands, they returned home to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house. So all this we have seen in the previous class. And now we are going to continue from verse 471. प्रभुर आनंद मूर्छा हलये मते बाह्य नहीं बहिलेका चेन से मते. The Lord remained unconscious in ecstasy. He did not even display a tinge of consciousness. So he had fainted for several hours. I think 9 hours or something. It is mentioned that he had fainted. And it was not normal, right? I mean, no ordinary person can display such symptoms of ecstasy. So he did not even display a tinge of external consciousness. But then these people who had gone to take darshan of Jagannath, they received Jagannath's garments and they returned. At that time, how was Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya? This is how he was. Vashiya achena sarva bhauma padatale Chaturdike Bhakta Ghana Ramakrishna Bhale. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was sitting at the Lord's feet. Look at the very sweet interaction that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was having. He was very protective of the Lord and he was sitting at the Lord's feet waiting for the Lord to wake up. And to help the Lord wake up, the devotees, they decided to chant the names of Rama and Krishna. So they surrounded Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and they all started chanting the holy names of the Lord. So whenever the Lord would lose consciousness, like we have seen even in the fisherman, Lord Chaitanya getting stuck in the fisherman's net, like that, many cases. Even when Nimai was a little baby, if he was crying, what would they all do? They would just chant the holy names. That was the only way to bring Chaitanya Mahaprabhu back to normal, right? So we sat around Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and we began to chant the names of Rama and Krishna from all sides. Achintya agamya gaura chandrera charita tina prahare yo bhagya nahi kadachita. The characteristics of Gaurachandar are inconceivable and unfathomable. He did not gain external consciousness even after 9 hours. Tina prahare. Tina Prahare means up to 9 hours. Imagine, he has not regained consciousness. Now, if at all there is somebody who's in this world, if at all a very advanced devotee is fainting in ecstasy also, he will regain consciousness quite quickly. But then this is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is come in the mode of Srimati Radharani. He is Sri Krishna himself, and he's exhibiting these symptoms of ecstasy. So he was completely absorbed. And even after 9 hours, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was caring for him. He was waiting and waiting. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he doesn't regain consciousness. So when one sees this, one should understand that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is extremely special. He's no ordinary person. That's why Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, in the commentary, he says, in this regard, one should see Madhvacharya's commentary on the Vedanta Sutra 1110. In the Mahabharata Shanti Parva 207.49, it is written, Evam sa Mahabhahu Keshavah Satyavikrama Achintya Pundarikaksho Naisha Kevala Manushaha. O Yudhishthir, this topmost powerful lotus-side Lord Keshava is the inconceivable personality of Godhead. One should not consider him to be an ordinary human being. So the Pandavas, they had the very close association of Sri Krishna. Krishna was like their messenger, their friend, their charioteer, their doorkeeper, whatnot. He did all sorts of roles. But when the Lord is amidst us, one should not think this is also an ordinary personality like me. So here, very emphatically, it is quoted that when you see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also fainted like this, one should not think, oh, there is an ordinary person fainting and there is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fainting. So what is the big deal? It's not like that. One should not consider him to be an ordinary person. We should be able to distinguish. Sri Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was able to distinguish. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he didn't treat him very cheaply. When the guards, they thought this is a disturbance and they wanted to throw out Mahaprabhu at the time, he immediately forbade them. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see how they play, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya places a piece of cotton to see if he's breathing, and then he could understand this is no ordinary symptoms, and then very carefully he was carried and taken care of. So one should understand that these symptoms no ordinary person can exhibit. And to add to this purport, because this is the only purport in this conversation that we have today, so I just thought we'll see a few verses from Bhagavad Gita that substantiates this particular quote that is given by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Though Krishna may come among us, he might be amidst us, one should not consider him an ordinary human being. This point has been elaborated by Sri Krishna himself in the Bhagavad Gita. In the Bhagavad Gita itself, Krishna is told in many places, like for example, the very famous verses that Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam Evam Yo Veti Tattvataha. So my Janma and my karma, my activities and my birth are all transcendental. It is Divyam. One should not take it very cheaply. Krishna has already mentioned that in the Bhagavad Gita. So here it is, Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam Evam Yo Veti Tattvataha Tyaktva Deham Punarjanma Nanti Mameti Suarchana. So if one can understand this, if one can understand the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities, at the time of him leaving his body, he will not take birth again in this material world and he attains Krishna's abode. This is what Krishna is telling. Now, when Krishna was born, his birth itself, his janma, was no ordinary janma. Like we all take birth from the womb of the mother and we all cry and then we are cleaned up and then we grow and so on. Our activities are nothing celebrated. But whereas Krishna, his birth itself was extraordinary. He did not take birth like one of us. It may appear that he took birth from the womb of Mother Devaki. But how did he take birth? When he appeared in this world, he appeared with four arms, with full jewelry, with hair, and all sorts of beautiful weapons and features. So, has anyone taken birth like that, or can any mother give birth to such a child with full jewelry? It is simply not possible, right? So, his birth itself was unbelievable. It was totally different. And what to talk about his activities? Every activity that the Lord did was something that ordinary people cannot do, be it killing the demons, be it lifting the Govardhan hill, or expanding himself in the Rasamandala, be it anything. The Lord's activities are unfathomable. It was all extraordinary. It is not like the activities that we perform. We may steal butter, we may lie, we may run away from the battlefield. All this is possible for us also, just like the Lord. But when we do it, is anyone celebrating it? Are they telling, wow, you're a butter thief? Oh, you ran away from battlefield, you're unsure, you're unsure. Is anyone celebrating us like this? But whatever activity the Lord does, whether he runs away from the battlefield or he rules the kingdom, he becomes Dwarakadish, whatever it is highly celebrated. Hmm? That is the nature of the Lord's activities. It is always Divyam, his birth and his activities. But however, Prabhupada in the purport, he talks about how sometimes the Mayavadis, they don't even understand that this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They think he's a person who's covered by Maya and he's also like one of us. So this sort of understanding can do no good. Hmm? We can never understand Krishna as he is if we have the Mayavad concept in mind. Another verse that talks about his greatness and how people can misunderstand in the Bhagavad Gita is 9.11. Avajananti mam muda manushim tanumashratam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. So here Krishna says, fools deride me when I descend in human form. When I come in human form, they are foolish people who think that I am an ordinary person. They don't understand my transcendental nature and they don't understand that I'm the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, though Krishna may appear among human beings and act like an ordinary man, we should understand that he is no ordinary man. The Brahma Samhita has also confirmed Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. When he comes to this world, also, he comes in a spiritual body. He's not like one of us who has a body that is different from the soul. His body, soul, everything is the same and it is always spiritual. There are many stories that talk about this point. Like, for example, we have this famous story of, not famous, not a very nice story, but still, this terrible story of Duryodhan. Duryodhan, he considered Krishna to be just like one other person of this world. He just thought, I also have a lot of powers. My friends also have a lot of different varieties of powers. I have seen sages with lots of mystic powers. And this Krishna is also another person who just has some extra mystic powers. He's a Mayavi. He's just a magician. He just has a few extra powers. I can easily do anything to him. So this was the idea that Duryodhan harbored in his mind. And we know that before the Mahabharata war, Krishna was acting as a messenger. He went as a messenger on behalf of the Pandavas. And his mission was that he wanted to request the Kauravas to give at least 5 pieces of land so that the Pandavas can rule as Kshatriyas and stay happy. But then Duryodhan refused. You know how Duryodhan said, I will not even give a, a bit of land that can be covered by the tip of a needle or a tip of a nail. Not even that much land I'm going to give to the Pandavas. But however, when Krishna went as the messenger, at that time Duryodhan had some plans. He told his friends and his associates in the Kuru Sabha that when Krishna walks in, he got the news that Krishna is going to come as a messenger. So when Krishna came, he told everybody, when Krishna walks in, you all should not stand up as a mark of respect. Don't welcome him. Don't stand up as a mark of respect. And he had everyone have rehearse that nobody should stand up when Krishna comes. But Mahabharata explains that as soon as Krishna entered the Sabha, the first person to stand was Duryodhan. And then looking at Duryodhan's stand, everybody was like, "Arey, what is this?" And everyone stood. Why? Why does that happen? Krishna is a very respectable personality. He's the Supreme Lord. When we talk about great sannyasis and great Mahabhagavats, we immediately stand up. It's natural. It just, why? Because it is mentioned in Shastra that the pranavayu rises immediately. And if you don't get up, then the pranavayu will exit out of your body. In the presence of great personalities, the pranavayu automatically goes up. So you also automatically tend to get up. There is a respect that flows from within, even without your understanding, even without you being conscious of it. So like that, immediately, actually Duryodhan was the first one to get up. And then looking at Duryodhan, everyone was flabbergasted and they all got up and they welcomed Krishna. But then Duryodhan, having his tendency to commit mistakes and trying to be the controller, he thought he will arrest Krishna. That was his plan. So he thought, okay, I will, he with his allies who Shakuni, Karna, everybody, they all thought they will capture Krishna and tie him up. They tried to forcibly capture Krishna. But then what happened when they all tried to forcibly capture Krishna? Krishna, he showed his Vishwarupa. And it was so blinding, that bright vision was so blinding. It was like thousands of suns had risen at the same time, and everyone was overwhelmed with fear at that point in time. So this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You might think he's an ordinary person, but then you can see these transcendental pastimes that he performs. That people like Duryodhan, the atheists, they're all bewildered. They don't understand. Initially, they think Krishna is one among us, but that's not true. Krishna is extraordinary. And Prabhupada, if you see both the purports, be it Avajananti Mam Moda or be Janma Karma Cha Medavyan, he points to the Mayavadis more than the atheists, direct atheists who say, I'm an atheist, I don't like Krishna, I don't want Krishna. More than those people, the Mayavadis who consider Krishna to be an ordinary person. He points at them and he tells that one may not, Mayavadis are making a grave mistake. He writes that in the purport. Mayavad can take various forms. The form of the one of the forms is, of course, Krishna is an ordinary person. He is also stuck in Maya like me. And when his Maya is removed, then he will get liberated and he becomes God. Something like that. That kind of philosophy they have. While the other form of Mayavad is he's an ordinary person. He's also in Maya. He's got a little more powers than me. And I can also become that Krishna. That is another form of Mayavad. No? I will also become that Krishna, the so-called Krishna, who's God. I will also become God, and he can also become God. So what? That is another form of Mayavad, where one thinks that he is equal to Krishna. And one such example is the story of Paundraka Vasudeva. So this Paundraka Vasudeva story was quite hilarious, actually. Paundraka Vasudeva, he had this idea. Actually, his story is very nicely mentioned in both Bhagavatam as well as in other Puranas. There is a lot of description of what was going on in the mind of this Paundraka Vasudeva. And when Shukdev Goswami was talking about Paundraka Vasudev's story, Shukdev Goswami was also totally amazed. He was thinking, how can someone be so foolish? But in this world today, there are almost every other person who's so foolish, who thinks I can become God. So he describes, Shukdev Goswami describes that when Lord Balaram was absent in Vrindavan, at that time this King Paundraka, who was of the Karusha province, king of the Karusha province, he became so puffed up that he decided to send a messenger to Lord Krishna. Why did he send a messenger to Lord Krishna when Balaram had gone to Vrindavan? Simply because he thought Balaram is the one who's protecting Krishna. He's very strong. He's the elder brother. He is protecting Krishna. So in his absence, I will send a messenger to Krishna. this Paundraka, through that messenger, he was sending a challenge to Krishna that I am the true Krishna, I am the true Vasudeva. Paundraka was thinking, I am the true Vasudeva and you are a fake Vasudeva. So you give up your weapons and surrender unto me. So this was the message that Paundraka decided to send to the original Vasudeva. So how did Paundraka even get that idea? That he is the Lord and he's everything, and he should be the one who's going to become Krishna, whatever. How did he get that idea? So it is mentioned in the Skanda Purana and in the Padma Purana that Paundraka, during his childhood days, he had heard that the Supreme Lord Vasudeva is going to incarnate in Dwapar Yuga during the time that he was there. And since it was the time of the Lord's descent, Paundraka, he started imagining himself to be Vasudeva. This happens. So, an incarnation is going to come, and this time you think you're very special, or this is also there. Sometimes it's not just you think you're special. Sometimes we tend to think our child is God. People who have their kids and they're so crazy about their children, they think, oh, my child is so special. My child is an incarnation of God. This is also so common even among devotee circles. They think, oh, he's an empowered incarnation of Krishna. So, like that, he or she, whatever it may be. So, this Paundraka, he was thinking that, oh, it's the time of the Lord. This is maybe I am the Lord. So since his childhood days, he had heard that the Supreme Lord Vasudeva is going to incarnate in Dwapar Yuga. And since it was the time of the Lord's descent, this Paundraka started thinking himself to be Vasudeva. Actually, the Skanda Purana and the Padma Purana, they go on to say that he had heard from scriptures about the description of the Lord. So he started from childhood itself trying to imitate how the Lord looked. And he started investing his thoughts, cleaning up his mind and telling his mind that I am that Vasudeva, I am that Vasudeva. He started dressing like that. So we see even in recent times, there was one fake Kalki Bhagwan. He was also considering himself to be Kalki because he knows in the age of Kali, there is an incarnation called as Kalki. So like that, it's not a new concept. People have done that in the past also. So Paundraka nurtured that thought since childhood that he's God. And to make it worse, the people around him, they were also encouraging him. There were many foolish people who encouraged this rascal. We read that in Bhagavatam, that he was thinking he's Vasudeva, and his ministers were also nicely telling him, yes, yes, you're only Vasudeva. And that person who was in Dwaraka, he's not Vasudeva. You're the real Vasudeva. And Prabhupada says sometimes when children are playing, they decide that one person will be a king among themselves, and the child really thinks that he's a king. They take it to be real. So like that, many foolish persons, because of their ignorance, they consider another foolish person to be God, and that so-called appointed God really thinks he's God, and the rest of his associates are uh, advertising the fact that he's God. So like this 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 Paundraka Vasudeva, he thought he was Krishna. And when he heard that there was another Krishna in Dwaraka, he desired to challenge that real Vasudeva. And how did he actually get that appearance similar to Krishna? That is also described in the Uttarakanda of the Padma Purana. It is described that so we saw his childhood, right? This Pandrak Vasudeva, since childhood, he had heard there is a Vasudeva who's going to incarnate. He looks like this, he looks like that. So he decided to become that Vasudeva. And he really wanted a form like him. So what he did as he grew up, this Pandrak Vasudeva, he fasted in a very solitary place and he started worshipping Lord Shiva for 12 years, murmuring the Shiva mantra. And every time he finished a round of chanting, he removed his eyes. Actually, he removed his eyes and he put it in the fire. And I think this was in his previous birth, if I'm not wrong. Why he took this? How come he got the 4 arms that is mentioned? So every time he would do this japa and this yajna, he would offer an eye in the fire. And finally, Lord Shiva was very pleased and he gave darshan. And at that time, he asked that, can you give me a boon similar to Krishna, a form that is similar to Krishna? Give me a boon so that I may get a form that is similar to Krishna. And Shiva, being pleased with his terrible intense worship, Shiva gave him a form with 4 arms, a disc and a conch, a mace and a lotus. And he had lotus like petal like eyes. He had charming hair with a crown, and he looked exactly like Vasudeva. And then he asks Shiva, give me garments, like yellow garments like Vasudeva, and then give me the Kaustuba. So all this was given as fake jewels. Like sometimes you have props when you're doing drama. So like that, he was given 2 attachments, extra hands, 4 arms. He was given Shankha Chakra, and then he was given yellow garments and beautiful eyes because he would put his eyes as a sacrifice. So he got beautiful eyes and he got a crown and he looked exactly like Vasudeva. Actually, sorry, I said previous birth, it's the same birth because in Laghu Vaishnav Toshali, Jiv Goswami also writes about this. So, like this, this Vasudeva, this Poundrak Vasudeva, he got a form that is very similar to Krishna. He took so much efforts. He wanted to look exactly like Krishna. So, why are we talking about all this? We're talking about all this about just to indicate how people can be so foolish. They can be so foolish that they can think that they are Krishna themselves. So, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in this purport in Chaitanya Bhagavat, he tells us that when the Lord faints in ecstasy, one should not consider him to be like any other person. There could be so many people who might be doing some harikatha and faking symptoms of ecstasy, or even they could just be emotional and they could have symptoms of ecstasy. But we should not consider them to be equal like the Lord is. So let's continue from 474. कृष्णेक उत्थिला सर्व जगत जीवना हरिध्वनि करि तेल गीला भक्त गणा. After a while, the life and soul of the universe regained external consciousness and the devotees began chanting the name of Lord Hari. So this is Jagata Jivana. Who's Sarva Jagata Jivana? It is Sri Krishna. It is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is the life and soul of the entire universe. So when this life and soul of the entire universe, he regained his consciousness. The devotees, they continued to chant the name of Hari. They were all very happy. And then, now that the Lord regained his consciousness, he wanted to know what happened. So he said, so let's see what he asked. Sthira hoi prabhu jiknya sena sabasthane kaha deki aji mora kona vivarane. The Lord very peacefully asked everyone, oh, tell me, what happened to me today? What really happened? Just like suddenly when you have a nice deep sleep and you wake up and you don't know where you are and you're like, what happened? Well, when did I go to sleep? You feel like that. Like that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had lost consciousness for 9 hours. And he didn't understand anything when he woke up and he asked, tell me what happened to me today. शेषे नित्यानंद प्रभु कहिते लगेला जगन्नाथ देखी मात्र तुम्ही मूर्छ गेला. Nityananda Prabhu replied, immediately after saying Jagannath, you fell unconscious. Say She Jagannath, say She Jagannath, say She Nityananda, sorry. Lord Nityananda, who's not different from Sesha, he told, Prabhu, when you saw Jagannath, Jagannatha dekhi, matra tumi murchi gaye. So immediately you fainted when you saw the beautiful form of Jagannath. दैवे सार्वभौम आची लेन से स्थान धरि तोमा ani lena apana bhavane. By the providence, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was present there at that time and he caught hold of you and he brought you to his house. So now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understood that he was in the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. आनंद आवेशे तुम्ही हाय परवासा भाह्य न जनीला तीना prahara divasa. You were so overwhelmed in ecstasy that you did not regain consciousness for tina prahara, for 9 hours. You were overwhelmed. यही सार्वभौम नमस्कारेण तुम्हारे आते व्याते प्रभु सार्वभौमे कोल करे. This is Sarvabhauma offering you obeisances. So beautiful. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was sitting at the lotus feet of the Lord, and the minute the Lord woke up, he could understand this is no ordinary person, and he offers obeisances to Sarvabhauma. And then the Lord hurriedly embraced Sarvabhauma. The Lord be comfortable, someone falling at his feet. So especially somebody like Sarvabhauma falling at his feet. So he immediately embraced Sarvabhauma. Prabhu Bale Jagannatha Bada Kripa Maya Ani Lena More Sarva Bhaumera Alaya. The Lord said, Jagannath is most merciful. He brought me to the house of Sarvabhauma. He's so happy. Parama Sandeha Chitte Achila Amara Kirupe Paiba Ami Samhati Tomara. I was greatly anxious about how I would attain your association. So it was also Mahaprabhu's desire to get the association of Sarvabhauma, and he's thanking Jagannath. Oh, Jagannath, thank you so much for taking me to the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. What more better boon can I get? He was thinking like that. कृष्णताः पूर्णकरी लेन आनयासे एतबलि सार्वभौमे चाहि प्रभुहासे. But Krishna has easily fulfilled my desire. After speaking these words, the Lord looked at Sarvabhauma and smiled. So the Lord was thinking, when I came to Jagannath Puri, I desired to see Sarvabhauma, but Krishna is so merciful. When I saw Jagannath, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya came and took me home. So Krishna has fulfilled my desire. He was saying that and he was smiling at Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Then the Lord said, Prabhu bole shunaji amara akyana jagannatha asidheki lana vityamana. The Lord then said, now hear what happened to me today. You know what happened? Why I fainted like this? I came to Jagannath Puri and I went and saw Jagannath. Then Jagannatha deki chitte hoila amara dhari ani vaksha maje tui apanara. When I saw Jagannath, I had the terrible urge, well, severe urge to go and grab him and embrace him to my chest, to my vakshasthale. I wanted to embrace him nicely. That is the immediate thought I had when I went and saw Jagannath. This is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's seeing Jagannath for the first time, and the first desire he had as soon as he saw Jagannath is to grab him and take him to himself. So sometimes when we see little forms of Krishna, that's how we feel, right? When you see pictures, you want to capture that little baby and take him to yourself. So like that, here we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was thinking, that is how I felt when I saw Jagannath. धरिते गेला न मात्र जगन्नाथ आमी तबे ही आयला शेषे और नहीं जानी. But after I went to embrace Jagannath, I don't know what happened. So he desired to go and capture Jagannath, go and take him away. But then as he was running towards Jagannath, he said, I don't know what happened after that. दैवे सार्वभौम आजी अचिल निकटे अत एव रक्षा होइला ये महासंकटे. And by providence, Sarvabhauma was there at that time. So I was saved from a great calamity. Why great calamity? Because it's not appropriate, right? They are all welcomed, installed deities. You go and you can't run into the altar and capture the deity. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he's thanking Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya saved him from such a great calamity. আজি হইতে আমি এ বলি ধড়িয়ায়া জগন্নাথ দেখি বনা বাহিরে তাকিয়া. I declare that from today I will not take darshan of Jagannath from outside. But how will he take darshan? He says, अभ्यंतरे आरा आमी प्रवेश नहीं बा गौडेरा पाचे गरुडेरा पाचे रही ईश्वर देखी भा. I will not enter the temple because if he enters the temple in ecstasy, he doesn't know what he will do. So he says, I will see the Lord while standing next to Garuda. Near the Garuda Stamba, I will stand and I will take darshan of the Lord. So you all know how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes darshan of Lord Jagannath. He stands in the Garuda Stamba, and there are so many pastimes, like that lady who was trying to climb on the shoulder of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Garuda Stamba is very, very special to this day in Jagannath Puri. That is where the Lord stands to take darshan. I mentioned this in an earlier session also. In South, they say that there are pillars near the darshan area, and the reason why they build these pillars is because devotees they lose their composure when they see the beautiful form of the Lord. So the pillars are there so that the devotees can cling to the pillars when they are seeing the darshan of the Lord, so that they don't fall off. And that is the reason why pillars are kept. Those are the Alvars sing. They say the reasons why these pillars, because the Alvars would go and hold on to the pillars and they would watch the beauty of the Lord. So similarly here we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He says, I'll stand only next to Garuda Stamba. I'm not going near. Otherwise I'll go and capture Lord Jagannath. ভাগে আমি আজি না ধরিলু জগন্নাথা তবে তা সংকট আজি হইতা আমাতা. It was it was fortunate that I did not grab Jagannath today. If I had done so, I would be in great trouble. As it is, these guys, they wanted to pick him up and throw him out. And imagine if he had grabbed Jagannath. So he says, no, 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 I'll stand in Garuda Stamba itself. नित्यानंद बाले बड़ा ये दाई ये भाला वेला नहीं ए स्नाना करह सकला. Nityananda Prabhu then said, it's good that you avoided that calamity. Now it's late, so let's all go take a bath. And they would take bath in the ocean in Jagannath Puri. प्रभु बले नित्यानंद संवरिय मोरा ए अनिधिक समर्पिलन मोरा तुम्हारा. The Lord replied, Nityananda, you should protect me. You should always be with me. I'm surrendering my body unto you. So sweet. E ami deha samarpana. I'm doing deha samarpan to you. And we know how Shachi Mata always told Nitai to take care of Nimai. He said, we should take care of this boy. You know, his body is yours. You should ensure that you take full care of him. So now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is reminding Nityananda, you should take care of me when I behave like this. So my body is yours. You take care of me. तबे कतक्षणे स्नान करि प्रेम सुखे वसिलेन सबार सहित हास्य मुखे. The Lord enjoyed ecstatic love as he took bath thereafter. He then smiled as he sat down with all the other devotees. The Lord was very happy. He was in Jagannath Puri, surrounded by the greatest of all devotees. So they went and happily took a bath and they came back and they sat down together. And what do you do after taking bath? You eat, right? So that was the next activity. Bahuvida Mahaprasada Aina Sthavare Satvare Sarvabhauma Tuli Nina Prabhura Gochare. Sarvabhauma quickly brought many varieties of Mahaprasad and placed it before the Lord. So Jagannath Mahaprasad is available 24/7. So Sarvabhauma, a resident of Jagannath Puri, he went and got Mahaprasad of Sri Jagannath. Mahaprasade re Prabhu Kari Namaskara. That's the first thing you do when you see Mahaprasad. I've not done that many times, but I will remember hereafter to do it. Mahaprasade re Prabhu Kari Namaskara. You do Namaskar. First you say Mahaprasade Govinde Namo Brahmani Vaishnave, right? You pray. You do Namaskar to the Prasad. Vashila Bunjite Lai Sarva Parivara. After offering his obeisances to Mahaprasad, the Lord began to eat along with Sarva Parivara, along with all his associates. So they all started eating Mahaprasad. But what is the Mahaprasad that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chose to eat? This is also there in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. You can compare the verses, it's there also. The Lord said, Prabhu Bale, Visthara lafara more deha, pita pana chena bhada, tomara sabilaha. The Lord said, give me a large portion. Visthara lapra mora deha. Give a large portion of what? Boiled vegetables. He's a sannyasi. He's strictly playing the role of a sannyasi. So he's telling, just give me boiled vegetables. I want a meager diet. And you all can take the curd sweet balls. What is curd sweet balls? Sandesh, Rashgolla, cakes, preparations made with condensed milk, kheer, all that you all take. So he tells that. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 6:43-44, it is stated, Prabhu kahe more deha laphara vyanjane pita phana deha tumi ihaha sabha kare. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested, please give me only boiled vegetables and you can offer cakes and preparations made with condensed milk to all the devotees. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 12.167, it is stated, प्रभु कहे मोर देहा लफरा व्यंजना पीता पाना amrita gutika deha bhakta gane. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you can give me the ordinary vegetable known as lafra vyanjana, and you may deliver to all the devotees better preparations like cake, sweet rice, and amrita gutika. So here in Chaitanya Charitamrita, lafra vyanjan, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is a purport, Prabhupada writes actually. I thought of reading that purport about Vyanjan. Is it- One second, just scrolling down. Yeah, Lafra Vyanjana is a preparation made with many vegetables which are boiled together and then chaunch is added. And what is the chaunch that is added? Spices like cumin, black pepper, and mustard seed. So cumin, black pepper, and mustard seed is added as tadka, and vegetables are boiled. And he said, give me only that, and you can offer the cakes, preparations made with condensed milk to all the devotees. So, hearing this, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he folds his hand and he decides to do as per the Lord's order. That's what Chaitanya Charitamrita states. Now, 496. Ye mata bali prabhu mahaprema rase lafaraka yena prabhu bhaktagana hase. After speaking in this way, the Lord began to eat the boiled vegetables in ecstatic love, and the devotees began to laugh. They were like, okay, whatever you desire. And they ate all the wonderful Mahaprasad of Jagannath. And actually, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Chaitanya Charitamrita, he says, you all at least enjoy, just eat what Jagannath has eaten, you can relish whatever he's eaten directly. So the rest of them, they enjoy all the luxurious food. And they said, they laughed and they said, Janama Janama Sarva Bhauma Prabhura Parshada Anyata Nera Nahi Hayaye Sampada. They said Janama Janama Sarvabhauma Prabhura Parshad. He is an eternal associate of the Lord. Sarvabhauma is an eternal associate of the Lord, birth after birth. Otherwise, who else can achieve such a great fortune? So, what was the identity of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya? Anyone knows? His eternal identity?
I was Brihaspati. Brihaspati.
And Subarna Thatiye Anna Aniya Apane Sarvabhauma Dena Prabhu Karena Bhojane. Sarvabhauma brought rice on a gold plate and he offered it to the Lord and the Lord ate. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he fed a sannyasi in gold plate. And here our Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Chakura, he says that foolish people will think, how can a sannyasi eat off a metal plate? Since foolish people think they are equal to the object of service, their mentality leads them to hell. So foolish people, they think they are as good as Krishna. Krishna should always be given first class um, things to, first class offerings. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he didn't, of course, he knows that this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is externally in the dress of a sannyasi, but he could understand this person is very special. Something very special about. He wanted to honor him nicely. So he presented the boiled vegetables in a golden plate, in a very beautiful golden plate, though he was he was the sannyas vesh. He was like a sannyasi. Se bojane ate kahala prema ranga Veda Vyasa Varni Bena Se Sabha Prasanga. The ecstatic happiness that manifested while the Lord ate will be described in future by Veda Vyas. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita also it's not described. So we are waiting for Veda Vyas to document it. And later, I don't want anyone to be here when Veda Vyas is writing all this, but we can read it in the spiritual world if at all we go there. Okay. So how Veda Vyasa has written about what Chaitanya, how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt when he ate the remnants of Jagannath. Ashesha Kautuke Kari Bhojana Vilasa Vasilena Prabhu Bhakta Vargachari Pasha. After joyfully completing his pastime of eating, the Lord sat down in the midst of his devotees. Nilachale Prabhura Bhojanna Maharanga Iharas Shravani Hoya Chaitanya Rasanga. By hearing the ecstatic pastimes of the Lord's eating at Nilachala, one attains the association of Lord Chaitanya. This is the Phalashruti for this section. శేషఖండే చైతన్య ఆయిల నీలాచలే ఏ ఆఖ్యాన శూనీలే భాసయ ప్రేమ జలే. Anyone who hears these Antya descriptions of Lord Chaitanya's journey to Nilachal will float in an ocean of love of God. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful section of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entering Jagannath Puri. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Chanda Jana Vrindavana Dasa Tachu Pada Yuge Gauna. Accepting Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories at their lotus feet. Thus ends the English translation of the Gaudiya Bhashya of Sri Caitanya Bhagavata-Antya Khanda chapter 2, entitled Description of the Lord's Travel through Bhuvaneshwar and other places to Jagannath Puri. So in the next chapter, we'll see the deliverance of Sarvabhauma. Of course, Sarvabhauma, he exhibited some devotee qualities, but then we'll see what happened, what was his actual thinking and how he was liberated from such a condition by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Actually, there are two more verses that is not mentioned in Chaitanya Bhagavat, which is mentioned in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, right after this, after he takes prasadam, right? He accepts the lunch in a golden plate. I'll tell you a little more what happened after that. And then we will continue in Chaitanya Bhagavat next chapter, okay, post what happens. So the Sarvam Bhattacharya, when he offered the golden plate, all of them, they ate as per Sarvabhauma's desire. And then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he took permission from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees, and he goes to Gopinath Acharya's house to take lunch. They take association of each other. And after finishing their lunch, they again return to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when he returns to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he offers obeisances when he sees another sannyasi, right? He sees a sannyasi, immediately you offer obeisances. So Sarvabhauma went temporarily to Gopinath Acharya's house and they had some discussion. He comes back and he offers obeisances. And when he offers obeisances to the sannyasi Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says, Namo Narayanaya, my obeisances to Narayana. Now, this is a tradition that is followed in the Mayavad sect. They think that the sannyasi is as good as Narayan. Okay, so they greet each other as Namo Narayanaya. That is your Narayan, I am Narayan, like that. But however, Vaishnava sannyasis, they don't think themselves as being the Lord. They always think that they are servants of Krishna. So what was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's response? Anybody knows to this? When Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya paid obeisances and said Namo Narayanaya, how do you think Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would have responded? Famous phrase, you all know this. It's
He closed his ears.
Vishnu,
Okay.
Vishnu, Vishnu. He
Krishna
must have.
Mataji.
Ah?
Krishna Matirastu.
He said Krishna Matirastu. That is the counter a Vaishnava gives. When someone says Namo Narayanaya, Krishna Matirastu, let your attention be on Krishna. So when a Vaishnava sannyasi is offering blessings, he doesn't say, oh, you become Narayan. He says Krishna Matirastu. Be Krishna conscious. That is the biggest blessing that you can receive from a Vaishnava. So, and then immediately Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he understood that this is externally he looks like a Mayavadi. Remember, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prabhupada is also written, you know, from Chaitanya Bhagavat also, he didn't have kanti, shikha, nothing. He was in an external dress of a Mayavadi only. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was thinking this 100% Mayavadi sannyasi. But then when he heard this Krishna Matirastu, Sarvabhauma understood that this should be a Vaishnava sannyasi. He's a Vaishnava at heart. And then he continues to talk to Gopinath Acharya and find out more about the previous condition of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Who is he? Why he took, which sampradaya he took sannyas from, and so on. And then we'll see further what happens in the next chapter in Chaitanya. Okay. So we'll end here. Any questions, comments, thoughts, corrections, please go.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danvat Pranams, and glories to Prabhupada, glories to Mataji. Wonderful session. I was thinking, how will you cover all these verses, but you covered so nicely. Thank you so much. And regarding the pastime that you were sharing of Pundarik Vasudev, so I was also thinking that, see the contrast, just a reflection, that he was also hearing about Krishna, about his beauty, about how he is holding Shankha Chakra Gada Padma, and he wanted to become like Krishna. Therefore, in the boom, he asked. On the other hand, we see even Rukmani also heard about Krishna, but she developed so much of servitude attitude towards Krishna that, oh, I want Krishna to be my husband. So, a contrast when we hear about Krishna. Do we want to become like Krishna? I think so. That was the only reason why we all are here. We all want to become our own Ishwaras. And but by mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we get to know that no, we can only have Dasya Bhav towards Krishna.
Hari Bol. Such a nice reflection. Thank you.
And of course, as you already shared, that it was this lifetime only when he heard about Krishna, so he wanted to develop the beauty like Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Yes, dear devotees, if anybody has any additions, please go ahead. Any questions?
Dandu Pranam Mataji.
Hari Bol.
Very well. So a very nice class. You always take us with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu right from his place to Jagannath Puri. We always feel that we are with him like that when you mention like that. I have a personal kind of realization regarding, Vaishnava Acharyas giving Krishna Matirastu. In 1984, when I was newly initiated, Sripad Radha Govind Swami had come to Nairobi, and he was given discourses on Srimad Bhagavatam. And I was new to, books and everything. So I used to carry Bhagavatam volume, that were available in 30 volumes like that, the small one. So I used to go and sit in front line where he was discoursing. And then I would refer to the book also as he was lecturing like that. So after a few days, he called me. He says, what book is you are referring like that? And I showed him my book that, it is Bhagavatam I am reading for the first time like this. Then I invited him for prasadam at our house. And when we had prasadam, after when he was leaving, he said, where is that Bhagavatam? And I gave him Bhagavatam. He wrote, Sri Krishna Matirastu.
Hari Bol. Oh,
I still have that book, and I feel so fortunate that he blessed me like that. Thank you, Mata, again. Hari Bol. Thank you.
Jai, Jai. So nice. Hari Bol.
Nice, Pralandananda Prabhu. You're fortunate.
I'm fortunate because of you all mothers, Mata. You are giving
Krishna,
us
no,
such
Prabhu. It's the other way around.
Fortunate because you have the blessings of all the Vaishnavas.
Yeah, Mata, this is Bhagwan's causeless mercy. Otherwise, I'm a fallen person, that I don't. Only I can diagnose where I am. Very well.
Oh, Krishna. Okay, dear devotees, anybody else has anything to add?
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept humble obeisances to the Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. Yeah, Mataji, such a beautiful class, such a beautiful pastime. And Vrindavan Thakur, he just took everyone in the journey of this pastime. So nice it is. I really like that pastime. Mataji, and you just narrated very nicely, even though it was simple, you said reading, but still you did all the example of Poundrak and everyone.
Thank you,
Such a
Mataji.
nice
Thank you,
class.
sir.
I always
Thank you, sir.
hear the pastime of the
She got dropped. Even she got dropped. Harima Mataji, you want to continue till she comes?
Oh, Mataji, thank you. I just wanted to thank you for a wonderful class. And, Kriti Das Sundari Mataji said
Sorry,
that.
Mataji. Okay, my phone something disturbed. It was gone. So yeah, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank
So
you,
grateful
Mataji,
to
for
you.
valuable association. Thank you.
Yes, Parina
Thanks.
Mataji.
Yeah, I just wanted to, say that Rukmini heard about Krishna, and even Pandurak Vasudev heard about Krishna, but it's like with what mood you hear, that's what, actually you end up. Rukmini heard about Krishna because she had that curiosity and she wanted to know, and then she wanted to have him as her husband. She had that approach. And Pandrak Vasudeva, there are people, even right now we have people who hear about Krishna, they read the Bhagavad Gita, but they have this envy factor. Maybe they don't realize it that they're having it, so that is why they want to become Krishna. So that because of that envy factor, I think Pandrak Vasudeva, he ended up doing what he did. So just wanted to share this reflection, Mataji. Thank you so much for your wonderful class. It's always very, very nice to hear your classes. Thank you so much. Danvat Pranams, Mataji.
Change Dandavat Pranams. Thank you.
Okay, dear devotees. Mataji, we have few chat messages by Harita Mataji, Vrinda Gopika Mataji, Parima Mataji, and Shivani Mataji, and of course, Neetu Mataji. Okay, thank you for the beautiful session. It's always awesome to listen to you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mataji, for all your time, for all your effort, for your wonderful class. So it's okay, Mataji. We can end up.
Yes, amen. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, dear devotees. Thank you for joining us today. See you all tomorrow. Let's pay our obeisances to Mataji. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha.
Katapataravasya kripa sindhu vyavacha patitanam pavanebhyo
Namaha.
Anantavati Vrinda ki jai Shri Prabhupada ki
Jai,
jai.
jai, jai.
Have a great day.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
जय
Thank you,
हरे
Mataji.
कृष्ण माता जी
Hare
धन्यवाद
Krishna.
प्रणाम
Hare Prabhupada.
Okay, dear devotees,
Hare
ending.
Prabhupada.
See you all tomorrow.